Hi, I am Lady Snow from Lady Snow Meditation. I'm sorry I have not posted in a long time. I've been trying to be successful in college, which has proved very difficult given the situation. And this video is going to be different than other videos because I'm going to do it on social awareness of the college that I've been going to because I have been highly discriminated on in this college. I have been mistreated in all kinds of stuff in at this college. And I want people aware. I have been reporting it to a number of authorities, and they one after the other, they're like, that is not my job, go to this person. And then I have contacted 6 or 7 different areas, and they're not doing anything. So this is social awareness for people with disabilities and how they're being treated. And I feel like I should speak up because I have serious disabilities um that um I deal with. And I'm one of the few people that knows how to advocate for myself. So I feel like I have a social justice that I need to speak up for the needs of all disabilities, because I'm pretty sure other people are dealing with this stuff as well. This is going to probably be a long video, but please watch till the very end. Please, if you are if somebody is going through some discrimination at UAA, please comment on the video. Please comment. I'm going to advertise this on Facebook in a couple weeks. Please comment on that. Please contact your offices, because I am not being heard, and this complaint is not being heard when I'm repeatedly going to these offices, emailing or calling, and I'm just not being listened to. And this um this this information will be different because I contacted 3 or 4 different offices, sending them the same email that I tagged them all in. And so I will just be reading the email. I'll try to stay on to the email. And because it's a lot of it, it's 40 different complaints. Like, it is like discrimination, harassment, and people with disabilities being mistreated on repeat. Um, with me, my experience, but I want people to speak up if they're having experiences like this, because this is not okay, and we should all stick together and speak up, even if you're being mistreated in the same ways but you don't have a disability. You should speak up too. um let's get to it. Give me a second, let me get in it. um oh, it's in my other email. I have too many emails. That's another thing. I have too many emails. Okay, so just so you know, I read this to myself more than a couple times, and so because this is in the email, so all the information might get jumbled, and I may have to um go back because it flips around. So I'm going to say the complete email, except for I put some numbers at the end. I'm not going to say those information. But again, this is Lady Snow meditation for Lady Snow, for Lady Snow meditation for your self improvement and domestic violence needs. And I do. Now let's get into this email. So, and I'm going to say the names I'm sending it to and everything. Um, Dear David Newman in State ADA Coordinator, Commission for Human Rights in State Ombudsman. Good morning to all you. I have a most pressing concern that is being ignored and needs immediate attention. I tagged you all in this email to make sure everybody is well aware of my situation. I have been highly discriminated on due to my disability in UAA. I have reported this already to the college, and they are ignoring this complaint. I have in the also I didn't put this, but they're also saying it's not discrimination. Um, I have reported this to the school board, and they said they don't do college complaints. I have reported this to Equal Rights as well. They told me that this is an issue for the state ombudsman office, who have called me back at a bad time, and in a month I have called them back at several times, and I have not heard anything back from them at all past the time I was busy. Yesterday, I tried to go there in person, but somehow a state office is not open to the public, which is shady in itself. I did not put that in there, but that's kind of implied. I have even tried reaching out to Lisa Mikowski, who claims to be for people who have disabilities, and haven't heard back from her. This is two complaints against me that are ridiculous, unfounded, and ridiculous. Okay, I know I repeated ridiculous twice, but I did not sleep at all last night. I slept like after the day started, but dealing with this stress, I did not sleep at all. I was writing this email all night long, so some of it is like hazy, and some of it's like I was tired and I was exhausted and crying and upset and just it no just so you know, um complaints against me as followed. And I do want to say, I should say this, this might be um what's the word, this might be traumatic for some people, so if you need to step away and come back, I would suggest you do that. But please, please listen to this, because this is information that needs to be heard, and it talks about weaknesses of people with disabilities as well. So it speaks up on a couple different levels for people with disabilities. So complaints against me as follows: asking questions to better understand a new group that started at UAA, including asking if someone was alright when they were crying. These are report the now I'm going now this I written it like saying the report, and I said my 2 cents in it and what happened, and so please keep that in mind. Yeah, I was, because I checked on somebody who was crying, and I got in trouble for that. Um, Going into a staff's office to ask a quick question when in a meeting, door was open, and I specifically remember so someone doing the same thing as me when someone else was in the office, and they got help right away and was not met with hostility like I was. Um and good something I do want to mention when I go through these complaints, and none of these complaints have um have information that says who it is, unless you already know information about my classes, which is under confidentiality, so you have to be specific. But I thought that it would be better just to take out names and identifying information, like where it was, what the staff is, and who the staff is. I thought that would be better. Because this is about UAA as a whole and how they are treating people with disabilities. Um, Incorrectly saying the wrong pronouns by mistake and fixing it as soon as I realized I did. Transgender and they, them is new to me to be around, and as I explained countless times, I have a very bad memory due to my learning disabilities and PTSD. Leaving my items in the Pride Center for 5 to 10 minutes to go to the bathroom, office, or other close places. When the Pride Center is not that full up, full up with students, one time I even asked permission. Meanwhile, a number of other offices couldn't care less if you did the same thing at UA. So what I'm saying is there's a number of other places that the, at UA that they don't care if you leave your bag there for a minute and come back. And I would get it. I would totally get it if it was like an hour or like a long period of time. But it's not a long period of time. And like I said, there's been one time that I actually asked for permission to do so, and I still got in trouble. Interrupting during a meeting with another student in the staff office after the staff talked for 2 to 3 hours with the same students and didn't take the time to check on any other students in that time frame, which I was told UAA has over 10,000 students. I only interrupted after wanting to talk to the staff for hours of talking to the same student. The conversation was not anything school related, it was just chit chat. Plus, like I said, the office door wasn't even closed, it was wide open, and the office door wasn't. Um, Meanwhile, I had something pressing I had to take care of, and the interrupting wasn't even until after hours of waiting. The staff never came to check if someone else needed help in that time frame, not once. Only after 2 to 3 hours did the staff come up to me and ask how they can help me, and I said I already got help with it from somebody else for it. um and it didn't take much time at all because I wanted it to be very clear that, hey, I just needed help for like a minute, like maybe 5 minutes. Like, I wanted them to know that. Um, and it didn't take. And then I left angrily. I must have had a question about something else, and I stopped in again after probably 15 or 30 minutes. I know I waited a little bit before I went back in. Um, Talking to the same student still, and this is after they've already been talking to for that long a period, and they reported me for interrupting them again. I would like to mention that the same staff, I had a moment that I was talking to the same staff and I was interrupted in the staff office, and the same staff completely left the office and went and helped the student in a different department of UAA, no less. So this staff had the office that they walked in. And I get, yeah, they travel, they have like meetings and they go to office, but I was in the middle of talking to the staff about something that concerned me or something. I don't remember what it was, but I was in the middle of talking to the staff, and this staff literally dropped everything and left the meeting with me for this other individual. So those double standards here, like they get me in trouble for stuff I do, but when people do the same stuff to me, it's acceptable and appropriate. Um, Sorry, I lost my place for a minute. And by and by the time we all got back to the office, it was time to close up. I also do want to mention, this isn't in here, but I also do want to mention that they also were complaining that I was refusing to leave the office at closing time. And it was because of stuff like this that I was in the middle of talking to the staff, and I was rudely interrupted and dismissed, and when I try to get back into what I was talking about, like, and it was a long time. Like, we went to um a, a way, it wasn't that far, but it was like we walked across campus. And the thing is, that person had issue with somebody in a different department, and all they needed to do was talk to the people in the different department. It had nothing to do with the department that I was in. Um, I would like, I would also like to add that they also mentioned that I was glaring at the staff for more during 2 to 3 hour wait, and that I chose to sit looking into the office. I would like to mention how I didn't move any seat or table to where I was sitting, and I don't have any control over my facial expressions. Sometimes Sometimes I don't even know what my face is doing. Most people just think it's funny when I roll my eyes or glare without realizing that I am. Most people just think it's funny, but this is not okay. And I'm allowed to have emotions. I'm allowed to be upset. This is, they can't say I can't feel. Like, this is not acceptable. Um, I also have been accused of yelling at somebody in the Pride Center. I have a disability where I have no control over the volume of my voice since I was a child. If they said in the moment that I was yelling, I would have told them that I have no control over the volume of my voice. I also do want to mention how it's not in this email, but sometimes if somebody just mentions that my voice is low, it, like, I don't know, it triggers something in my head, and then I'm able to lower my voice when I'm told that. I don't know what it is. I don't know how I'm doing it or how I did it or anything, but when I'm told to lower my voice can get lower, like, depending on the situation. Sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes just being told to lower a voice helps me. I have got banned from the Pride Center before I could even speak up for myself and before the investigation ever started. It wasn't even investigated and I was already being punished. Okay, they don't like the word punish, but yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's not even being properly investigated. The staff at the compliance office has a very biased opinion, and that staff is not being objective at all. And that's not in here, but I think I like mentioned it in a couple areas, so I do want to make that very clear. I have been repeatedly told by DSS, Disability Support Services, for those who don't know what it is, that when I ask for disability help, that this is a college and that I am an adult, do it myself. This is when I am already asking for help for not understanding something due to my learning disabilities. I have, okay, do I, wait, let me, let me get some more. I'm sorry, I normally don't do that, but this is very traumatizing to even go through, and the fact that I wrote it all down is better because otherwise I would forget things that are crucial, and that there's a lot. There's like 40 complaints. So give me a minute. I have accommodation with homework if I ask for it, in um of I have accommodation of more time with homework if I ask for it. And on two different occasions, I never received a phone call back. Never fixed that mistake either, even after they found out. So I contacted DSS multiple times um regarding the same similar issue, that saying that I need more help. I need more time for this assignment. And they straight up ignored this or didn't don't pay attention to the voicemail or something. I don't know. But that is a backdoor thing. That is not my problem. It should not be the problem of people with disabilities. And I want to also mention, um was told that I should have called back if I didn't hear anything back from them. No social protocol says if somebody leaves a message, you need to call again. The social protocol, and I'm just adding this in, the social protocol is that you um he'll when you get a voicemail, you check your voicemail on a regular basis. You call people back. They don't have to call you two to three times or four or five or six or seven to just get a phone call back. They call you once and you wait for them to call you back. Um, plus DSS always says do not just stop by either. So they don't pick up the phones. They don't respond back to you. They expect you to keep on calling them without regard for how many phone, and they don't particularly like you just stopping by. um my advisor at the college have said that this is an issue with multiple students with DSS. So if you are a student at the university and you are having this kind of issue, and I do want to say, if you're having any of these issues with UA, please speak up in the YouTube video. Please speak up on Facebook. Please speak up, because this stuff is not okay or appropriate in any manner. And for some people with disabilities, they might not understand. They have been mistreated because, but I know the laws. I have a very good understanding of right and wrong. So yeah, this is not okay. Um, I had this class where a student repeatedly kept identifying me as they them, when every time I told them, um, why do you keep calling me that? I think I sounded angry, and I asked that same question so many times, and the other student kept getting mad at me too, each time in front of the teacher as well. This teacher never even just gently said, I don't think she likes being called they, them. I very much identify as a woman. So I do not like they, them for me personally. Like, I identify as a woman, and that is who I am. And this complaint, um, oh, I almost got this. This complaint specifically, I mentioned specifically because there was the identity thing early on. But I want to make very clear, I am not saying anybody's name, but for this specific teacher and this specific student, I do not have an issue with. It just is a frustration, and I felt like I should bring it up because of the identity issues early on stated, that I forget, and I felt like I should bring that up as well. But again, I do not have an issue with this specific student or this specific teacher. I do think they made a mistake, and I think this is just a mistake on their part. I just brought it up because I thought it was necessary to support my case. And I would never do, even if asked, I would never do a complaint against this student or this teacher, because I think it was an honest mistake. I just brought it up because I think it's necessary to bring up. I think it's a supporting thing that supports what I'm feeling and what I'm going through, and that's why I brought it up. I had this class where I repeatedly emailing my professor that I do not understand my essay assignments and that I need more clarification and being able to understand it. Sending multiple emails saying I do not understand. Please explain. Repeatedly getting back, it's in the syllabus, and oh yeah, I didn't mention this, but it's in the syllabus. It's in the announcements, but I didn't say announcements in here. But either way, it's the same difference. And repeatedly saying I have to read the whole thing over. Um, oh, maybe I didn't make this clear. So I said to the teacher in email, to this teacher in email, that I have read the whole thing over 30 times. I don't understand explaining to the teacher, even the writing center and trio doesn't understand either. With the teacher responding back to the same thing every time. And there's going to be a list of complaints that this specific teacher said about me later on in the email. I just want to make it clear that this is the same teacher. Um, Trio reached out to the teacher as well, and still nothing. Still, I complained about the teacher multiple times to the writing center, Trio, in the care team in DSS, with the care team knowing I have a learning disability. The staff told me that they are not allowed to hold my hand, and if I don't understand something, you just fail a class. Like, so I'm literally saying, dude, I have a learning disability. I don't understand this. Due to my learning disability, I do not understand this. And they told me, the staff in the care team told me that you are responsible. I am not going to hold your hand. No one is going to hold your hand. I didn't ask to handhold. That I didn't ask for. I asked to for better clarification because I didn't understand this. And they said, to a certain degree, you either pass or fail. It's on you. Like, no, I am asking for help because I don't understand this. Even though I have a very clear accommodation of more time if needed, a teacher told me that these specific assignments, you don't, for these specific assignments, you don't get more time no matter what. So even if DSS reached out to that teacher, they said that I would not get any extra time even if the accommodation said so. DSS has told me when I was saying that I am adult, do it myself, when I was asking, let me back up. So DSS has told me when I was saying, like I said, I was half asleep. So, when they were saying that I am adult, do it myself, when I asked, to get help to understand an assignment, turns out there was a employee in that same office the whole semester, that it was their job to help people with disabilities understand their assignments. The whole semester, I was begging for help for just that. I was going to the writing center, I was going to Trio, I was going to the dean's office, I was going to the kill team, I was going to all these places asking for just that. And the whole time, they had something in place for people like that. The whole time. They knew the whole semester I was having trouble. I repeatedly said this over and over and over and over and over. And I could feel some of the staff that was trying to help me, they were getting frustrated themselves because I was like, I do not understand this. I am reaching out. I was showing some staff my emails of me repeatedly asking for help, and then the teacher saying, it's your job, it's your job, it's your job, pretty much. Um, te- Sorry, I kind of lost my place. Being told that for better understanding on the assignments when I don't understand the syllabus to the teacher is not a reasonable accommodation. Let me repeat that. Being told that asking for a better understanding on the assignment when I have a learning disability, when I don't understand the syllabus to the teacher is not a reasonable accommodation. Every teacher is required to do office hours to be those for the students. I'm really confused. Is that not the point of office hours in the basics of a teaching job to help students understand the assignments and to help them have understand the class and the subject? Isn't that the that's the whole point of teaching? And they have office hours. I don't know if it's beyond locally, but at least in Alaska, um, I I have been to both charter and UAA, and their teachers are required to do office hours. I was told by a supervisor that teachers are required to do office hours. Teachers saying coming to office hours. So I had a teacher tell me to come to office hours and then saying don't come to office hours, which is actually the office hours are required for the teachers to do. They can't say don't come. They can't do that. Another teacher telling me not to come to office hours to better understand the assignment. So let me make this clear. There was two different teachers that was telling me not to come to office hours because um okay, so now we're getting into the other part of this. One teacher who I reported for harassment turned around and retaliated, reporting me for harassment as well. This was thrown out as harassment, but it was counted as disruptive behavior, and because of that, I was threatened to be kicked out of college by the compliance office. Meanwhile, completely ignoring my original complaint altogether. And let me remind you, this whole time I'm like connecting to all these different resources at UAA. I'm like saying, hey, I need help repeatedly to not only one but several offices. And I could tell some of the staff really wanted to help me, but it was not their job description and they couldn't do anything to help me. Meanwhile, the people that could help me were completely ignoring me and saying this is not discrimination. And it clearly, some of this goes against my accommodations and it is very much discrimination and harassment. Um, okay, complaints about me, and I explain all these from this from all these, like I said before, I said that one issue was related to this one teacher, and this is all one teacher who I complained about and was ignored and tossed out and not even looked at. I contacted Title IX. I contacted um the dean's office. I contacted the care team, which the care team and the dean's office is the same office. I don't get it. They're like different objectives. Sorry about that noise. But you interrupt your teacher regularly during class by take asking questions or blurting out statements. Some classes don't um okay, that's what the complaint was. Some classes don't require you to raise hands. Sometimes there has been a long pause when the teacher has finished talking when I speak, and then the teacher starts talking at the same time when I start talking. And I'm for that specifically, I'm not like saying the teacher did something wrong, but the fact that it was a complaint was like ridiculous. Like, plus I have ADHD, so anybody that understands anything about ADHD knows what I like. I had a question, and I have PTSD too, so sometimes if I don't ask it right away, I will forget it. Like, and like seriously, people say write it down, but like when I'm supposed to be having accommodations for note taking. And like I try to do my own notes sometimes, and like I will forget what I'm writing in the middle of doing one freaking sentence. One sentence, I will forget what I was writing sometimes. It is truly awful. Like, it is truly hard to deal with. Professor redirects to ask questions during breaks, office hours, or after class. Same teacher told me not to come to office hours. And I got that proof in an email. Monopolizing the teacher's time during okay this is this is the same teacher monopolizing the teacher's time during breaks. There was a lot of time that I didn't ask, and other students talked as well. Plus I was asking the teacher the same questions on repeat that the teacher was refusing to answer through email, in person, on breaks, and after class. At that point, I was like, why go to office hours to get stonewalled? And like I said, they told me asking for clarification on assignment when I don't understand it is not a reasonable accommodation. Um, I even said, hey, can you please email Trio and explain it to them? For they can explain it to me. And still, this teacher refused every approach. I gave her several approaches to go through. She refused every single approach. I talked during class to other students to understand technology. This was class related and it was not that long. It was quick, as the teacher has demonstrated the teacher will not help me at all repeatedly. Like, so it was a very quick question. I was like, dude, I am trying to get on Blackboard and get into my assignments, or like it was very much that class related as well. And I was like, hey, can you help me real quick? Like, and it was like 2 minutes. It was like no more than like probably 3 or 4 minutes. Like, and like I said, I have been demonstrated that this teacher won't even try, that DSS won't even try, and suddenly I can't even ask my fellow students for help. Which, by the way, I want to mention how they fully support study groups and asking your students for help. They tell you to ask other students for help. Like, Um, I'm standing up and walking around during class. She brings snacks to class. This teacher brings snacks to class, so sometimes I would get up to get a snack or to go to the bathroom. That's the only time when I would ever get up. And I did not put this in the email, but for people with ADHD, sometimes getting up is necessary. Like I wasn't like circling around the class. I was going from my desk to the snacks and back, or going to the bathroom and back. I wasn't like going around the classroom or this or that, or like it wasn't like I was just doing what I do and come back. Like it wasn't like I was like doing handstands at the back of the class or something. Like, yeah, I want to make sure that's very clear. I was not. This is what was happening. Um, this class was a 3 hour, and I do want to mention that this class was a 3 hour class, and I have a medical condition where if I don't go to the bathroom right away, I will wet myself. Like, and even if you don't have a disability, there are people who have kids who have similar issues, or there are people without disabilities that have this issue. And I do want to mention how this is something very embarrassing to me to even mention, and I'm publicly mentioning this because this goes into discrimination and retaliation, and I need to mention this. Um, this, okay, which do you think is more disruptive? Going to the bathroom or wetting myself in the middle class? Like, which do you think is more disruptive? Um, I do want to say, hey, you can decide for yourself, but we all know it's if I wet myself in the middle of class, that's disruptive. Like, yeah, buddy, yeah, no, that's more disruptive. Um, crying in the middle class. This is actually a complaint that my teacher said about me. Crying in the middle class. So, no, no, this teacher who actually physically saw me crying in the middle class, so I was clearly upset. And they have a care team who is supposed to pay attention to people's mental health, and they have people there that are supposed to monitor people, and you're supposed to do a care report if something's happening or if you feel that somebody needs support or something. So instead of doing a care report like they're trained to do when somebody's upset, this teacher did a complaint about me. Yeah, and I do want to mention as well, the whole reason I was um crying in class is because I was failing my class due to my teacher's behavior, and due to this teacher not um trying to help me after class, before class, on office hours. This is due to her behavior. I started crying in class because I was so upset. The next thing is eating loud in class. Eating loudly in class. I do want to mention that I have accommodation for eating in class, and the teacher would bring snacks like chips too. Which, no, I'm not saying she's bringing snacks so she's a bad person. That's a nice thing to do. But you can't bring snacks that are loud and then complain and do a complaint that this individual is being loud due to the snacks you are bringing. It is, I am being set up to be reported. Like, this is not okay. This is not acceptable or appropriate. Same teacher would have conversations with students that are not class related. I have I don't listen, I don't zero into people's conversation, but like, I pay attention. Even when people don't think I am, I pay attention. Oh shit. Just a minute, I accidentally logged into this email. Let me find my place. Sorry. Like I said in the beginning, this might happen. And I'm surprised that it only happened once. I'm glad it only happened once. Um, so yeah. Same, yeah, like, in these conversations were not school related. Like community events, they are both going to. So, this teacher would talk to, um, this teacher would talk to, um, other students after class, of course, but this teacher would talk to other students about, like, going to the same events and, like, which I don't know what the policies are with students hanging out with teachers. I don't know enough information. I'm not going to say anything. And honestly, some people can show up to the same event just because you show up to the same event, you're not hanging out. But this teacher is the same teacher complaining that I'm monopolizing her time. Am I monopolizing her time away from having casual conversations about non-school related stuff? I'm I'm just pointing that out. Um, when I tried to make an appointment with DSS to them about all this, they told me this teacher is not retaliating. And to make matters worse, they told me here's a list of disruptive behavior. So, in a way, they were telling me that you are not being retaliated against. This is not mistreatment. Here is a list of things you cannot do, which I wanted to, like, put it in this. I have that list and I wanted to add it, but basically the list boils down to um common sense things like be respectful, and a lot of the things are like illegal things, like don't discriminate, don't plagiarism, don't it's a lot of it's like don't do drugs, like a lot of it is just illegal behavior that you should not be doing to begin with. So that, and I have not broke the law in anything that I'm doing in class. I have not gone into physical fights. I have not, like, one time, I remember one time, I'm trying to make this happy, but one time I was messing with the university police and they just passed me in the hall and I was like, are you going to arrest me? Like, I was just like, I don't like cops to begin with, and the university cops are not cops. But yeah, I was joking. But yeah, like, I have never had a issue where the university police have had to come get me or anything like that, except for, like, my code wasn't working this one time, so I had to call them and be like, dude, I'm locked in the building. Like, I am locked in the building. Like, I cannot leave. Like, my code is not working. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, it's not like anything like that. And I lost my place again. My bag. Give me a second. Um. Um. Okay. When I tried to make a appointment with DSS to, oh yeah, I mentioned this. Oh, I didn't mention the last part though. This teacher only did a complaint after I told them my complaint, and my complaint was completely ignored. And not even a week later, the teacher does a list of complaints. And by the way, I thought when I did a complaint, it was supposed to be anonymous, which it clearly was not. In fact, the supervisor of this teacher did not even investigate my complaint, did not. She just took 5 seconds to read the email and was like, oh, this isn't discrimination. She didn't even ask to meet with me or anything like that. She didn't even try and talk to other people about what was going on. Um, yeah, and I do want to mention that I have done numerous complaints with Title IX, and I know I mentioned that before, but I want to remind everyone that I have done complaints with everybody in the school that I could think of. I have gone outside of the school to do a complaint. I have done everything. And like I do want to mention this because this is literally what happens to people with disabilities. So people with disabilities get treated like this kind of stuff on repeat. And then what happens when they react or get upset or get anything due to emotional mental breakdowns due to being mistreated, this is turned around and saying, see, this person with a disability is having these kind of issues. But not only not this does not happen until they are asking for help and being mistreated on a regular basis, and it is not being taken care of. There was a the law that says you can be fired for any reason in the workplace um is dangerous for people with disabilities because they use that to discriminate, and it's easy to get away with discrimination. It is a piece of cake to get away with discrimination, and it is too easy, and nobody really enforces it. I know there are offices in place, but they don't enforce it. And I'm not talking about people, I'm not just talking about people with disabilities, but I'm talking about everyone in protected classes. It is way too easy to get away with it. We have a fire at will, so that literally means that I don't like you, so you're fired. And that's perfectly legal. And it leaves room for countless acts of discrimination and makes it easy to get away with it. Um, yeah, and I also want to add that my note taking accommodation was always brought up at the end of of the 3 hour class, and at the very end everyone is just thinking about going home and not falling asleep before they get home because this class ends after 8 p.m. Being forced to read compliance, I was being forced to read complaints when I already knew it was retaliation and already told them as much when I knew already it wasn't healthy for me to read it. I told them that I ended up having a nightmare that seeing a lot of dead bodies and being killed in a really gruesome way. So my mind, I have PTSD and I have all these I have a history of domestic violence. So my mind was trying to cope with it in a way, but my mind, even my unconscious mind, did not know how to cope with it. So the way it coped with it was giving me a nightmare of running into a lot of, like, I think I saw somebody getting killed in my, and I saw the person who did it in the dream, and I kept running into the dead bodies, and like it wasn't like businesses too. It wasn't like in like back alleys. It was really strange. And then yeah, the dream took me to, like, we had a run to this like thing, and then yeah, it was like we accidentally trespassed in something, but it was a total accident, and like yeah, I was killed in a very gruesome way. Like it was really bad, but my mind was trying to like cope with all this, and I guess my mind was like, oh, this is how we're going to cope. um UAA has literally been hell since I joined. I am not allowed to cry, as I demonstrated in all my complaints. I'm not allowed to be angry, as I demonstrated. They report me for being angry. And I am not allowed to stay silent, because they use that against me too. Like when I take a breather and I choose not to speak, like the Pride Center staff was like, "Oh, I went to her and I asked her, can I help you now?" And like I was like trying to take a breather, like upset, like trying to take a breather. And I went back when I was calmed down, and yeah, the staff did a staff then added to the complaint because I waited till I was calm and I talked to them then. And yeah, I can't even be silent. My silence is used against me. My crying, my anger. I can't have emotions at this college. When I'm mistreated, they use anything I do. I walked a, um I walked away. In a complaint, they mentioned this staff mentioned how I walked away angrily. So I'm not allowed to be angry. Whatever I do, whatever I feel, whatever I whatever happens is used against me. Um I do also want to mention UAA compliance was trying to use the fact that I couldn't remember the exact time of the situation that happened against me, saying, "Oh, you don't remember that, but you remember it was 2 or 3 hours, but don't remember what time it was exactly. How did you know how long then?" Treating me like I was lying. when I have PTSD. Like, I have PTSD, and I have been through so much, that I think I do a good job. And I think I do an amazing job. Like, and I'm just treated badly from companies like this. And I'm just tired of everything. I okay. I can feel like I'm about to cry. I don't want to cry on a YouTube video, so give me a second. Water helps calm people down. So this is the only thing I can really do in a YouTube video, like, because I can't really, like, what am I going to do, a stress ball or something? Well, I have a stress ball. I don't know what it's at right now, but this. Sorry. I mean, this is really upsetting for me, and so this is why it's good that it's all written down and I'm just reading it. And so it's not like my other YouTube videos where it's like more naturally, more organic, while I'm just talking to you, but to make sure that I am not missing a single detail, which, by the way, I did not mention everything that's happening to me at UA. This is, and I don't remember everything. Well, I imagine that there's been things that's happened that I don't remember, but I took all night to write this. Literally all night. This is a 40 complaints that I have with UA. Um this has been happening all semester long. I have ADHD. I want to mention my disabilities for this video. I have ADHD, PTSD, fetal alcohol syndrome, and I have more disabilities than that. I have a good amount of disabilities, and I don't remember all of them. Those are the ones that I remember off the top of my head. Um, And the rest of this information is private information. Like, I do phone numbers for witnesses to my disability and stuff, and of course I'm not going to add that in the videos. Um and then I made this very clear that I was going to make it public on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, and advertise it through Facebook so others can share it as well, and others can see how people are being treated. My hope, and I do want to say one more thing before I end this video. And like I said, it's an hour video. Like, shit, we're already to an hour and 8 minutes. But I said a lot of information, and I hope you watch it to the very end. Um, if anybody has faced UAA discrimination or this kind of treatment from the staff, from anybody, from students, from staff, from anyone, speak up. I'm going to do a Facebook ad soon in a couple weeks and put this on Facebook. So please comment on your Facebook, say your experience, share this to everyone. Share this to your community, share this to your friends, share this to people in the office, because I have seriously reported this to so many offices, and they keep telling me that this is not the right office to report it to. And this is how UAE is getting away with this kind of behavior, and it needs to end. This is not okay or acceptable or appropriate. This is not okay. And I am sorry if you faced anything like this behavior at UA or any other school. My YouTube channel is for people to feel comfortable. So feel free to mention any, even if it's like a college experience and then somewhere else, or if you got mistreated, please mention that in comments as well. This is a safe space and you can speak up. You can also send me, I do have a fan mailbox that you can send me mail, you can email me. I do got Instagram and Facebook. I do got a fan site, and like you can talk to me either publicly or privately. Like I am not under any confidentiality, but I take confidentiality very seriously, and I understand it completely. And anything you say to me, um whichever way you say it to me, will remain confidential, and I will not judge you for anything. Like I feel like I should say this, but any of my topics, anything that is said um to me, I will not judge you for anything. I am very loving. I will not judge you. Be open, be honest, share your story. This is a safe place, which UAA apparently is not. But I am a safe person. I am a safe place. You can talk to me individually. I am I am me. I am who I am. And I do want to clarify this. I am not failing UAA. I have done one semester at UAA, and I'm not going to know my final grade to the end of the class, but I got 1A, um, 2 high Bs, and the not all my stuff was graded, so some of those high Bs might turn into A's. I have no idea, they might not, but either way, a B is still a very high grade. And then of course I got 1C, but that was based on that class that I repeatedly asked for help, and the teacher was not helping. So I'm people are impressed that I even passed the class, not understanding what to do in the assignments. Like, and it's a little bit impressive that I was able to pass a class not knowing what the hell I was doing. Which was the case. I was like, I don't understand this. I repeatedly don't but yeah, but as always, I love you all, and this is my first video of sharing my experience, my personal experience. Sometimes I do share experiences, but this is my first video of sharing putting my own trauma in there, and I hope people are respectful of me, and hope people don't um verbally attack me for this. And I am protected under um freedom of speech and freedom of expression, so UAA is not allowed to retaliate against me. um But yeah, again, I love you all. Have a great day. Share this video. Share with politics. Share with everyone you know, because this needs to be said. Um, and share your experiences. Okay. Love you. Bye.